Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good morning. Yang berbahagia Tan Sri Datuk Sri Dr. Syed Hamid Albar, Honorary Advisor to AMEC, as well as former Malaysian Foreign Minister, Professor Dr. Mazli Malik, Chairman of IAIS Malaysia, Dr. Syed Azman Syed Ahmad Nawawi, Chief Executive Officer of IAIS Malaysia, Mr. Muath Siam, Senior Fellow at Asia Middle East Center, AMEC, Professor Dr. Nazari Ismail, Chairman of BDS Malaysia, as well as Hashim Sani Center for Palestine Studies, UM, Professor Dr. Kamruzaman Yusof, Adjunct Professor, Department of Islamic History, Civilization and Education, Academy of Islamic Studies, University Malaya, respected discussants, Organizing Committee of IAS Malaysia and AMEC, ladies and gentlemen. All praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has made this occasion possible for us this morning to discuss a very important topic, current topic, which is gripping the politics of the world with regards to the current genocide that is happening in Gaza, that is Trump's 20-point Gaza Plan, solution or illusion. This conflict, as we are all aware, today marks the second anniversary of the genocide. And to date, the number of those who have been massacred has reached close to 70,000 people, according to official figures. The other damage and loss in Gaza is too great, too huge to even record. So today we are going to get our distinguished panelists who are going to present their analysis of the plan, which is supposed to resolve once and for all the genocide. And we do not know whether it will resolve anything in the end. So we will listen to this and we will follow this presentation by our discussants whom we have invited, and inshallah we'll have a very lively session. I would like to invite Professor Dr. Mazli Malik, Chairman of IAS Malaysia, to present his welcoming remarks.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good morning to everyone. Yang bahagia, Tan Sri Datuk Sri Dr. Syed Hamid Albar, Dr. Syed Azman, Mr. Muath Siam, Prof. Nazari, Dr. Kamruzaman, ladies and gentlemen. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Earlier today, I was listening on my early breakfast table with my kids, the speech, or rather interview, that had been conducted by the media with Greta Thunberg. She was asked about all things that she has gone through inside the Israeli detained center, what they have done to her, what she has gone through, and she immediately saying that yes, if she wanted to tell the story, it would be endless, and they can spend hours talking about it. You just can imagine this regime, these animals, they can do anything. They dare to do anything. If they manage to slaughter on the daylight more than 70,000 civilians, including women and children, what more a girl like Greta and other humanitarian activists who were with her in a mission to break the siege and to bring the aid to the people of Gaza. But she said that is not the story. It is all about the genocide that had been committed in the daylight, that been witnessed by the whole world. But yet the world cannot do anything. So this is why she and her comrades took the risk. They know the worst will happen. They know whatever occurred to their friends in the journey, that will happen. But for her, it's not about herself. It's not about her humanitarian comrades. It's about the genocide. It's about an ethnic cleansing that been committed in a daylight, but yet the world not only stood still, but some of them has the audacity to support and condone them. But for us, it is more than that. It is not only what happened after October 7. It's about occupation of a sovereign land. It's about occupation of a nation that used to have its own people, that used to have its own sovereignty, recognized by international community, but yet their land has been taken, their land has been occupied, and their history has been erased. And the colonials that invaded, that occupied their land, is having the final say on everything, including in the so-called United Nations, that's supposed to uphold human rights, justice, and all these things that we have been taught about what is to be a civilized nation and what a civilized world would be. I still remember when I was invited by the Oxford debate, I told them, the title of the debate, Islam is incompetent with democracy. I say, after October 7, after the genocide, after what happened in Gaza, there's no more democracy in this world. There's no more human rights. There's no more justice. So this is where, for us, it's more than just a genocide. It's more than just an ethnic cleansing. It's about colonization. This is the final chain of colonization that still exists and being condoned, being supported by a lot of people. But again, for us, I would say, Muslims, it is more than the occupation of a land. It's about Masjid al-Aqsa. They've been targeted since the first day of the occupation. You can see all the tunnels that have been made. And if October 7 did not happen, Israel would have done only God knows to the Masjid al-Aqsa. I still remember I was telling my Catholic friends, I told them, if any crazy Muslim or any crazy Muslim government had this idea of invading the Vatican and saying that it has been promised to them since 3,000, 2,000 years ago, I will stand with the Catholics to protect the Vatican against even the Muslims, because this is not how Quran and the Prophet Muhammad taught us. But this is what's happening. So I think, yes, we are talking about the 20 points of Trump initiative, which is very peculiar and very, strange. Normally when you have wars between two parties, you would have both parties to sit down to agree on the negotiation. Everyone would have their demands. Everyone would have their interests to put forward, and they come to the common ground. But what happened to this Trump initiative? It has been imposed onto the Palestinians, regardless whatever they wanted for themselves. Hakku tasri, what they call it, the right for them to determine their own future. Taqrirul Masir, Hakku Taqrirul Masir had been denied. And as if whatever Trump has been put forward, as if it was the Palestinians who caused the trouble, as if it was the Palestinians who caused all this misery, and not the other side who has been killing, who has been massacred the innocent people, and that has not been addressed. If you look at the very earlier points, the fingers are pointing at the Palestinians. You should stop this. You should be disarmed. You should. And not a single bond, not a single article telling Israel, apart from ceasefire, not even a single article telling Israel, you should do this, and you should not do this and that. What type of ceasefire, what type of truce, and what type of peace agreement is this? It's very unfair, at least from a point of view of normal people like us, and it's very unjust to the victims. I don't want to talk more about this because we have the panelists and we have discussants. And I think the most important part for us is to plan what should we do after this. I mean, we cannot let the culprit just get away with whatever they have done. And history will remember us for not doing anything if we don't do anything. So thank you to the organizer, and thank you to all of you who have come today, and hopefully we can contribute to the discussion. And the most important part, we should plan what can we do after the roundtable discussion today. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Mazli Malik, for your insightful remarks. Now, without much ado, I would like to invite our Tan Sri Datuk Sri Said Hamid Albar for his opening address. Please, Tan Sri.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. The chairperson, Dr. Latif, Professor Dr. Mazli Malik, Dr. Syed Azman, Syed Ahmad Nawawi, Mr. Muath Syam, Professor Dr. Nazri Ismail, Professor Dr. Kamaruzzaman Yusof, respected discussants, organizing committee of AIS Malaysia, AMEC, ladies and gentlemen, Alhamdulillah, we are able to be here in a very stable and peaceful environment, discussing a subject that is not so peaceful or proper. So I would like to actually congratulate the organizers for organizing this topic on solution and illusion on Trump's 20 points peace plan. Yeah, I think it's a very courageous way of trying to review before the review by our discussions. So I just like to mention some points that I think, even though I'm not supposed to be giving a long speech, but I've got some remarks that I would like to make. To me, it is a great honor and pleasure actually to address such distinguished gathering. And I think at the outset, I'd like to once again say thank you to the organizers for this opportunity to share some reflections. I consider it as a reflection. I will talk about reflection on Trump peace plan, power, principle, and pursuit of justice. This is actually the crux and the core of the matter. You know, as you rightly put by Professor Masli just now, I think the subject is as urgent as ever. What we are seeking for is a just and lasting peace in the Middle East. And I think the renewed relevance of what is once again called the Trump peace plan. I think we are gathering at a time when the Israeli-Palestinian conflict has once again reached a dangerous impasse. I think the world has become more tolerant to death, to lawlessness, and everything that is inhuman. We are watching as if it is a show. And we have made so many statements and words, but we have not been able to take the step of action in order to show that nobody is above the law and lawlessness cannot be tolerated. And then, of course, we blame the United Nations. Many of us blame the United Nations. I think the paralysis of the United Nations is not brought upon by the United Nations. It's brought upon by the international community. That's how the paralysis. It's about time that the United Nations, maybe we should think about a new United Nations that reflect current status, current problems, that can solve problems. So I think... let me just say that I think President Donald Trump is nothing new. Actually, this is a reviewed 2020. You remember when he wanted to, for the election, he came up with, a framework for the, originally he says, the best peace plan. So then he didn't get to become president and brought back. I think the question before us, because you put there solution or illusion, I think today, in today's world, we are actually not living in a world that seeks solution. We are actually living in a world that has got a lot of illusions. We are not moving anywhere. So I think in this context, I think the question you should ask, maybe the discussants will discuss it before us, is not whether it can work. I think, but whether it can restore faith in justice, diplomacy, and international law. These are the core factors that relate to the future of humanity. So I think when he was first unveiled as the deal of the century, everybody thought it was a bold blueprint for peace. And I've got a lot of misgiving whenever, but it is spoken at a time in a complex circumstances that is marked by deep mistrust and unprecedented regional volatility. So supporters regard the plan as courageous. Whatever the motive, I think the moral questions remain unchanged. Can peace be meaningful if one of the principal parties is excluded from shaping it? You can't impose peace. And you can't impose peace without dealing with the issues of accountability and responsibility. So peace cannot be dictated, in my view. It must be negotiated. It cannot be imposed. It must be embraced. Without the direct participation of the Palestinian people, no plan, however elaborate, can achieve legitimacy or endure. So I just like to mention some points again. For Palestinian, which our Palestinian colleague will discuss, the renewed discussion of the Trump plan, they have met with both fatigue and frustration. It's quite tiring. Many see it as a repetition of past promises without genuine recognition of their right to self-determination. Yet, amid despair, there is also a new pragmatism. I think this is very good, a willingness to engage if the outcome guarantees dignity, sovereignty, and statehood. These are the three principal things that you need to address. Across the Arab and Muslim worlds, reactions are similarly mixed. So I think the ongoing tragedy since October 2023 has shaken the conscience of the international community. The humanitarian cause, particularly in Gaza, has reminded us that law, compassion, and accountability cannot be separated from diplomacy. The United Nations, the European Union, and OIC have all reaffirmed that any viable peace plan must rest on the 1967 borders, mutual recognition, and the right of both people to live in safety and dignity. I think as stated by Secretary General Antonio Guterres, peace cannot be, I quote, peace cannot be achieved by ignoring international law and long-standing resolutions. So this remains the moral compass for all negotiations. I think I'm very happy that Hamas has expressed conditional acceptance of the Trump peace plan as a basis for negotiation. Trump shared the letter publicly. It is critical, however, to separate optimism from illusion. Acceptance without genuine intent or negotiation without parity will only breed deeper cynicism. This moment is not yet a breakthrough. It is a test of sincerity. I'm about to finish. But before I do that, I'd like to mention some of the things. I think as far as Malaysia is concerned, the principle of peace must rest in fairness, legality, and humanity. This is Malaysia's position. We have consistently supported the two-state solution, grounded in United Nations resolution, the national law. Personally, I don't believe that about the two-state solution. I better mention to you, because I think you cannot create a two-state when one of the parties is increasing their state and sovereignty. There is no sincerity or honesty. And our brokers for peace are also not serious about establishing, if you don't stop the Israeli in the West Bank building more settlements and taking over land. So I think these are all beautiful words. I think the days of the beautiful word, maybe we should start to, So I think Malaysia can, I hope, through ASEAN, the OIC and the non-aligned movement, Malaysia can continue to build bridges between East and West, between power and principle, between faith and humanity. We believe that diplomacy should heal, not humiliate. Listen, not dictate. And above all, must never abandon justice for expediency. I just like to take a quotation from the Quran, from ayat Surah Nisa. The Quran reminded us, indeed Allah commands you to render trust to whom they are due. And when you judge between people, to judge with justice. Justice is not a gesture of goodwill. It is a divine trust. And I think the great leader Nelson Mandela once said, to deny people their human right is to challenge their very humanity, which is happening at present. So these two sources, divine and human, together remind us that strength lies not in domination, which Trump peace plan seems to suggest, and the Israeli ones is domination, not compassion and justice. And I think as we consider revive Trump peace plan, we are going to discuss, you are the experts, I am just an observer, we must ask, will the world choose convenience or conscience? Power can propose, but only principle can sustain. For Malaysia, I like to repeat, peace must be rooted in fairness, dignity, and law. We'll continue to speak with clarity and compassion for Palestine, for justice, and for global order, even when even the smallest nation and the most vulnerable people are treated with respect. Vanilla, I just like to take what two persons that I always think they talk sense all the time. Dr. Mustafa Barghouti. He said, quote, Israel doesn't want two states, doesn't want one state. So we are wasting our time. We're discussing what do they want? They want ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians. How do you deal with the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians? That's what they want. And the most terrible thing about Trump's plan, this is Barghouti, is that it gives Israel the time to continue the settlement building in the West Bank, so that we will reach a point it will be impossible to have a Palestinian state. It's already a reality happening. So you can't call a plan for peace when it is aiming at that. It's actually a plan not to have peace, because without our right of self-determination, there can be no peace. I think to have a trustee like Tony Blair, it makes it worse for us to think. So, and then another person who is very respected, who is a Zionist, a Jew, editor of a newspaper, formerly, he says this, and I think he is talking about truism. There is no Palestinian conflict. There is a brutal Israeli occupation which must come to an end. One way or the other, the day that Israel will realize and recognize that the Palestinians have exactly the same rights as they, but exactly in the last inch, this will be the day that things will be solved. And then I want to hear from Israel, what is the answer of Israel? Why not equal rights? Because we are chosen people, because God promises something, because we are better, because we deserve more. Two people share one piece of land there. One people has all the right in the world. The other people has no right whatsoever. It looks like appetite. It talks like appetite. It is appetite. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tan Sri, for your very spirited opening address. I would like to quote one or two of the words that you mentioned, which should strike us as reality that is happening. One is living in a world where there are a lot of illusions. So we don't get the real thing, we get illusions. And we are always told a lot of stories which are made up and lull us into, sleep, while they go on about their agenda of controlling the world. And the other was, peace cannot be dictated, but must be negotiated. So with that, I think we can start our session today. Once again, I would like to introduce our speakers. On my immediate left is Mr. Muath Siam, who will be the first speaker, followed by Professor Dr. Nazari in the center, and finally on the far left is Professor Dr. Kamaruzzaman Yusof, a long-time friend and scholar of Islamic studies. So let's begin with Mr. Muath Siam. Mr. Muath Siam, are you ready? Please.
Assalamu alaikum. And good morning for everyone. Thanks for IAIS for giving us this opportunity to talk about contemporary and and current issue that I think we've been following and very attached to, especially in the last 2 years. Each one of us, not only the Palestinians, not only the Arabs, not only the Muslims, each one of the free world, he consider himself or herself as a human being, has been attached to this genocide happening in Palestine. So today my inputs will be about the Trump 20-point plan. And I think what Dr. Mazli and Prof. Tansiri Said Hamid Al-Bar has just spoke about is very important, because it's like direct us to the right direction of this discussion and the path or the track we should take in discussing such a topic. So to start with, before talking about this plan of Trump, which is not new, as he loved to show off and say that he's coming out with brand new or unprecedented ideas, we have to address, first of all, whenever we want to talk about what's happening in Palestine, we have to address the people reality, what's happening and why we reach this point of time or these proposals. So we have to acknowledge that Israel or the Israeli occupation has been committing ongoing genocide against the Palestinian people. As Prof. Tansiri just said, like, they are not interested in or really genuine about achieving peace. The ultimate goal for them is to ethnically cleanse the Palestinian people. And we've seen lots of evidence during this genocide extended for 2 years and still ongoing. The Palestinian people lost almost 70,000 so far, and 200,000 are wounded and injured. The humanitarian level or the conditions in Gaza is unimaginable. I'm not going to go deeper in that, because I'm sure that each one of you, because of course joining this discussion means that you care, means that you are interested and you are compassionate and you are supportive in a certain way. So the Palestinian people still, even through or going through all these sufferings, they still resilience, and they still steadfast, and they still didn't give away their homeland. And by that, Israel has failed its objectives and its goals. And that leads us to why eventually deals or proposals are coming out. They try to exclude the Palestinian side from any negotiation. But if you think of it logically, and they try to promote Israel as a winner for this combat or for this genocide. But if you think of it logically, if you are a winner, why should you come with a plan? Even though it's a very biased plan in favor of Israel, but you still need to negotiate, because simply the Palestinian people has not been defeated, and inshallah will never be defeated. So if we go through the 20-point plan, and I'm sure like we are not in a time to go point by point because you are aware of it. As I said, it's not a new plan. And when we look at the way Trump reacts, it has a reason, like due to his personality to start with, and due to the circumstances of his or America's Israel relation and how the Israelis influence the Americans in each resolution or each plan or any initiative taking in regard of the Palestinian issue. Actually, some news said that this plan, 20-point, wasn't the same plan that the Muslim and Arab leaders agreed on. They were surprised, and the Pakistani even president, he said, like, this is not the one we agreed on, because Netanyahu managed in a way to change 9 points, 9 major points of this plan, like radically change them in favor of Israel. If you want to like review why such a behavior, why such an action has been done, not to mention how it has been accomplished, but you like conclude in an understanding that he is in very bad need for any kind of winning or any kind of achievement. So whatever he couldn't achieve by military or by force, he's trying to achieve by political means. If we also look at the other side, like people sometimes say, okay, you should take it. The Palestinians should take it and agree, whatever. You just agree. Okay, the Palestinians, if we look at their point of view, because I believe those kind of platforms allow us as Palestinians or as counterpart point of view to express our view at least, because like we cannot find much space to express the Palestinians' point of view in this world dominant by the superpowers supportive for the Israeli occupation. So why Palestinians are skeptical, if we can call them this way? Simply because they've been through this for many, many times. And all the times Israel like hijack the agreement. Israel will never keep its promise. You know, for instance, the Palestinian Authority has been through a peace negotiation, Oslo Accords, and at that time, the U.S., like ironically, it was also the mediator for this peace talks. And it was very big statement at that time. You know what was it? You cannot imagine, like it was promised, and this is the reality we reach today. By 2005, the Palestinian people will have their state. This is a promise by the US to the Palestinian Authority. Like, you go through this peace process, and we assure you that by 2005, not 2025, by 2005, the Palestinians should have reached their states. So if you look at the Palestinian people at 2023, and those people who ask why you put yourself in the first place in this situation, what kind of hope the world is giving us, what kind of rights the world is allowing us. So we reach a point like we want the peace. We are actually the most party striving and looking for peace. but yet it's not achieved. We've been compromising, at least. The Palestinian Authority has been giving all the excuses to just pass it and push it forward. But yet the Israeli are not interested. And during this government, actually, what is like good for us to wake up, those current government are so openly about it. Like no diplomacy at all. Like they say it clearly. We will never allow a Palestinian state. So how you expect the Palestinians to sit and accept whatever you are negotiating and believe in this process? Another thing is, like, this is the history of the ceasefires even before this war. How about during this war? How many ceasefires the Palestinian side has managed to go through, and actual exchange of prisoners happened many times in order for a ceasefire to be accomplished but the Israeli side, by the green light of the US, were allowed to break the ceasefire without any reason, just to continue their aggression. Another thing is Mr. Trump himself. Like, you are the one who recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. You are the one who made the deal of the century without even giving any rights to the Palestinian people. So we hope that this time they are genuine about this process deal. In order to go through the Palestinian response, yet the Palestinians managed to respond positively. After all what I mentioned, the Palestinians are very genuine in stopping this genocide because it's from our blood, from our flesh. We have to stop it. But in what cost? We have to stop it without giving away our dignity, without giving away our rights. And the Palestinian resistance responded in and managed to break it into two parts, the 20 points. First part is what's related to the resistance. I mean, the ones who are fighting, Hamas. So they said, okay, those parts, the first 9 points, I think, we can agree to negotiate on. But the rest of the points, they are addressing the future of the Palestinian cause as a whole. So we are not in a position to negotiate by ourselves. This has been referred to the national agreement of the Palestinian people. So by that, I think, smart way, they managed to handle or manage this deal with, or this plan, which was intended to be imposed forcibly on the Palestinian people with no comments. And I hope this round of negotiation, rather than the previous ones, and not to mention the previous incident, like I'm not aware of how far you can go with the Israelis, or they are acting like nothing happened. Yeah, just last month you bombed the mediator country. Come on. So at least for the Trump administration, they have to be less biased this time. I think they have to acknowledge the Palestinian side and their rights and their aspirations for self-determination. And to mention also for one critical points, two critical points, and I will end with that. The two critical points that everyone is talking about is disarming the resistance and the international control of Gaza. So the first one, as the Palestinians responded, we are not against disarming the resistance, but to whom? Like, if you manage to, or if you can go in a process that ends with a Palestinian state, of course, there is no reason for the resistance arm to start with to keep it in this way. We can handle it to the Palestinian army in that position. So matter solved. And the other thing is the international community. The Palestinian people doesn't need any guardianship for them. And self-determination is a right for the nation that has been fighting and has been struggling for liberation for more than 70 years. And recently, some big countries recognized Palestine. And now you want to hijack this right of self-determination. What kind of recognition is that? If you are not willing to give the Palestinian the right to self-determination, to choose who leads them. So the other point is to handle the Gaza affairs by a Palestinian committee, not international committee to start with, and not by one like Tony Blair. Like, he's a very controversial person. Like, we've seen what he has done in Iraq. We've seen how he treats the Arab and the Muslims. So it's not the best person to propose. And I hope, as a Palestinian, I hope this round of negotiation will go through and will manage to find a way to end this genocide, because 2 years of ongoing killing is enough. And we have to stop this. We have to put as much pressure to achieve a deal soon, inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Muaz, for your points that you raised, which are very relevant to this discussion, especially when you say that Palestinians are always at the receiving end. In any negotiation or any kind of dealing, they are at the receiving end, and they are supposed to be in that position. That is what the big powers want. So to continue this discussion, I would like to invite Professor Nazari to give his views. Prof. Nazari, you have 15 minutes.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulil karim wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Mr. Chairman, Tan Sri, rakan panelis, Dr. Syed Azman, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. First point I want to make people realize, or if you haven't read the news, is that since Trump asked Israel to stop bombing after he received the reply from Hamas, so Trump said to Israel, you have to stop the bomb now. 104 people have been killed since then. And what has Trump done about it? Nothing. No comment. So that shows actually what hopes do you have in Trump to solve the problem, right? The thing that we need to educate the public, international community, and in the case of Malaysia, the Malaysians, is to understand the history of what's taking place in Palestine and the nature of Zionism. If we don't understand the nature of Zionism, then a lot of efforts and discussion will be wasted. We will be wasting a lot of time. We have to understand what Zionism is all about, what's the objective of Zionism, which at the end of the day, they don't want the Palestinians to be there. The nature of Zionism is settler colonialism. They want to get rid of everybody, all the Palestinians, and turn the place into a Jewish-only country. So we have to understand that reality from how it started and where it's going. So we don't understand that, then we will be in illusion. We'll be hoping for something that's not going to happen. When the Tan Sri just now mentioned about lawlessness, for me the lawlessness actually is not now. It started in 1948. It started in 1948 when the international community gave 55% of the land to 1/3 of the people there who came from another country, right? They all came from another country and they constituted a minority, and the international community gave them 55% of the land. So from the very beginning, it's already unfair. And later on, when they killed thousands and then forced 750,000 out of their own land, the international community recognized the country of Israel. Obviously, that country should have been recognized in the first place. All the leaders of that country should have been arrested and charged in the international court for war crimes. So from the very beginning, there was lawlessness. It's not only now. So we have to go back there to understand. So now, we also have to understand as well the nature of America now and what Trump is all about. The Zionists are in charge of America, regardless of what American public are doing at the moment anyway, they are determining the policy, and Trump is simply actually listening to them. I mentioned just now 104 people have been killed. Trump has done nothing about it. Has no punishment, no slap on the hand, even not any slap on the hand, and no reduction in the weapons sent to Israel to continue killing the Palestinians. No threat to take away the bombs or to stop sending weapons for the F-35 or the bulldozer, the Caterpillar bulldozers being used. No mention of slowing down the supply of weapons and ammunition to Israel. Why is Trump like that? As I said, maybe the lobby, or probably scared of blackmail. There's somebody also saying that it's because of the Epstein's file. Something funny. Americans are saying that. We don't know whether it's true or not. Possibly true because of his history. But nevertheless, we know that we can't rely on Trump to solve the problem at all. Anybody who has any hope that Trump is going to help, they are living in a make-believe world, in a dream world. Migao, probably, they say. You ask them to wake up. I don't want to go through the details as Muaz just have gone through 23 points, so many things, inherently flawed anyway, so no point. I think it's a waste of time to go through each one of them, because from the very beginning it's not going to solve the problem, even if it is of course, if it is fully implemented, which was mentioned by the Malaysian Foreign Ministry in its response to that plan. I was shocked when I read that official response of the Foreign Ministry. Fully implemented? What are you talking about? If fully implemented means you are saying to the Palestinians, no more resistance, right? And then also that Israel has got the right to continue occupying a significant part of Gaza. And then you are saying that it should be implemented? What is wrong? Somebody has been... I don't understand. Somebody has got to explain to us why the Foreign Ministry, Wisma Putra, came up with that response. I mean, we don't want to say it's a traitor to the cause, or betrayed as such a strong word, right? But not saying that makes me feel guilty, right? Because of the blatant injustice of the plan, and then you say that it should be implemented. For us, in the BDS movement, we will continue with our campaign anyway, what we are doing, because we are very clear that as long as the three demands of the BDS movement are not fulfilled, then we continue with our campaigns. What are the 3 demands? I want to remind people again. Number 1 is the Resolution 194, which is all the refugees have got a right to return. International law, they have got the right to return, and that should never be compromised. Nobody has got the right to say that this one is difficult, this one is tricky, whatever, not realistic. No, that's their right, and we must not only respect but also help to promote it. The right of return of Palestinian refugees. Number 2, Resolution 242, end of occupation, and the complete lifting of the blockade of Gaza, and also the bringing out of the apartheid war. And number 3, this is rarely mentioned, but the BDS movement stressed this also: equal rights for Palestinian citizens who are now citizens of the illegal state of Israel, because now they are being discriminated. People forget about them. Many people forget about them, right? They tend to they don't really care, but they are Palestinians also, and they are being discriminated. There are many laws, as you know, that put them in second-class citizen, worse than that. So we should also make sure that they will get equal rights. For us, even though we are a movement that is non-violent, we are a non-violent movement, therefore we do not engage in any violence, but we respect the right of resistance, in whatever means, including armed resistance. And therefore, the operation, October 7, 2 years already, turned out for us to be a very great help to make people understand the importance of BDS and the importance of boycotting Israel, sanctions, etc., etc. Before that, people didn't really realize. People didn't even know what was happening in Palestine. But now, because of what happened, we, in many cases, we don't even have to engage in campaigns. For example, I don't know, some of you may not know that Starbucks is not on our list of targets, but everybody boycotts Starbucks, and they are in trouble now, right? So they are doing more than what we are campaigning. Sometimes we even got scolded. But why your list is so short? So short. We want to boycott as many as possible. So I said, sorry. We have our strategy is to be effective. So we don't want to have hundreds and hundreds of companies, because I say if you want to boycott complicit companies, then you cannot buy a Mercedes, for example, because Mercedes has got an operation in Israel. They have got an outlet. You cannot buy. Okay, Toyota also, and then BYD, Chinese companies have got a lot of operations in Israel too. You cannot buy many stuff if we ask you to boycott any companies that are linked to Israel. So that is why we say to be effective, we shorten down the list and we focus on certain target companies only. So we will continue with that, and we've alhamdulillah now our efforts have been rejuvenated. People realize that this is the way ahead, in order to make sure that the brutality in Palestine can be stopped. Now, let me go back to let me finish by saying that we must realize that we need actions more than words now. Our discussion, we have been discussing like this in this room many times for years already. So we don't want to continue. We will continue. People invite me, I will come and have discussion. But we need actions. And in the case of Malaysia, there are things that can be done but are not being done yet. For example, Caterpillar bulldozers, which are being supplied by America to Israel to crush Palestinians, to pieces, to demolish homes and infrastructure. They are used by, the Caterpillar machines are used to dig up the roads so that Palestinians cannot use their roads, bring down power lines, water supplies, all done by D9 Caterpillar machines supplied by Caterpillar Corporation in America. Why are we doing business with Caterpillar? Why is Sam Darby still continuing to do business with Caterpillar? I've written letters to the board of SAMDABI as well as PMB, we have done about 4 protests outside the building. I know they know about me also, about BDS movement, but they chose not to. They chose to ignore us. The last chairman said to me, we are GLC, we follow what the government says. If the government says stop with Caterpillar, we'll stop tomorrow, he said. But if the government is not willing, we will continue. Profits, because it generates a lot of return. So, why are we talking so loud? But if you are not even willing to, this company was even divested, right, by the Norwegian fund. The Norwegian fund said, no, we are not going to invest in Caterpillar anymore. This, you are complicit. It's unethical. So, if the Norwegian can do that, why are Malaysia not able to? We are louder than the Norwegians. We don't have any diplomatic relations, etc., right? Huh? We claim to be with the loudest and the most strongest supporter of Palestinians. But even that, we are not willing. Second, AWS, Amazon Web Services, the supplier of cloud services to the Israeli military, Amazon Web Services. And watch it. I hope it's not going to happen, but I've been informed they are going to get a contract by the Malaysian government. Amazon Web Services, one of the most complicit companies. And we are loud, shouting so loud, but we are giving contract to a company that is named by Francesca Albanese as one of the most complicit companies. It's helping Israel to commit genocide in Gaza. Of course, there is Boeing as well, which supplies the F-35 fighter planes, fighter aircraft. And the CEO came here. Oh, thank you for coming. We are so happy to see you. These are the genocide supplier, right? This is the genocide, the supplier of genocide, enabler of genocide. One of the mains. We should be telling him, come on, why are you supplying weapons to Israel to when the F-35 bombs the Palestinian? Now 60,000, 66,000, thousands are killed. And we are not saying anything. We are welcoming this company. And something is not right somewhere. So actions are what we need now and not words. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Prof. Nazari, for your explanation of the BDS movement in this campaign against the injustice that is being done to the Palestinians. There's actually a lot more to be, I think he's got a lot more to say, but unfortunately due to the constraint of time, we have to restrict the presentation. So we come to our last presenter, that is Professor Kamaruzzaman. You have 15 minutes.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to all of you. Thank you very much, Brother Dr. Abdul Latif, being a moderator this morning, Professor Dr. Mazli, Chairman of IAS, and Dr. Saizman and the rest of the committee, Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Datuk Seri Dr. Abdul Hamid Alba, my fellow panelists, and the rest of the participants. I would like to say that when we are talking about the 20 points that the the Trump government is trying to convince the whole world, it is all about illusion. Yeah. Why? Because this particular plan, nothing new. It is all about provision that has been discussed, agreed upon from the previous plans. It is not all about the last 2 years or so. It has been there for a very long time, but it doesn't take place in one way or another. It is unbalanced. It is one-sided. Brother Muaz also mentioned about that clearly. And then we are also very concerned about the media control, whereby after 1 or 2 days, Trump mentioned about these 20th plans is come to the most of the media, social media especially, and then I read from the Times of Israel mentioned clearly that the Hamas accepted all the provisions. So the people all over the world tend to believe that this is true, and then when it's come into the next what Sheikh Khalid Haya mentioned, and then everybody telling the world that, you see, it was Hamas who changed their mind over time. So these are the things that we have been also controlled in one way or another, from the media control by the Israeli regime. This is my introduction to that particular point that has been mentioned by Tan Sri as well as our fellow panelists. The question is, what lies ahead? What we should do? We have been talking a lot. More than enough. We been hearing what the people or most of the government leaders who were in Doha, after Israel sent their bomb to Doha. So everybody have been invited, and then they sit, and then they eat, and then they speak, and then after that they go back and waiting for another bomb, from Israel. I'm not sure who will be the next. Some says that it will be Egypt. Some says that it will be Turkey. Syria is always there. Day and nights. And then this is our concern. Whereby hopefully this particular forum is not repeating what has been done by our beloved Islamic as well as Arab leaders. I choose to sit here because I'm very small. If I stand up in the forum, in the restaurant, for sure nobody can see me. Only my songkok. So I would like to make it very clear that the humanitarian aspect have be taken place. We have to start our movement by continuing the humanitarian actions, either through non-violence or through other aspects of strategy that we are looking at. We are very happy and very grateful. 24, youngsters, mostly youngsters, although there are some old people like ZRA and other people. Mostly youngsters who have their courage, not only to go for demonstration in front of the American embassy, but they have the courage to continue to be very brave, to continue their movement, either from Spain or Italy or Greece, Tunisia, to show to the world that we Malaysian, together with other group of the global Sumut flotilla, to show to the world that our next action will be humanitarian, our next action will be non-violence, and then I really hope that this particular forum also will have the courage to share with the government officials as well as politicians at all levels that we have to train more volunteers in order to continue our struggle. Some people say that we are very far from Israel. Yeah, if we send our own flotilla, also it doesn't reach to Gaza. When we sent our, for example, our drone also, yeah, it might be stopped somewhere. Yeah, if not by Jordan, probably by Saudi. Who knows? Yeah, it's happened several times. But I'm sure that if we can gain momentum and then giving the our youngsters to continue the struggle, to show their togetherness with the people of Palestine, it will be the best move, yeah, forever. And then please also make sure that not only Muslim next time around to join the flotilla. We would like to invite our Tian Chua, yeah, who has been caught, yeah, in KLCC, yeah, for having this small broom, you see. So we need you and the rest of the people from the non-Muslim, our fellow non-Muslim, to join this flotilla to show that we are together. My last point that I want to share also, I fully agree with what Professor Nazari said. Yeah, I also feel very sad, not really disgusted. Yeah, very sad. How come the government officials from the foreign affairs, yeah, clearly mention that they are with Trump? Is it because of Trump is coming, or because of Trump might give us some fare or some discount in terms of tariff, or due to some other reasons? So we believe that we have to show very clearly, we have to show very straightforward that we are not with this 20 plan that has been organized or that has been proposed, yeah, by Trump. We are sure this is very unbalanced. This is one-sided, and then we are also sure that we can do something. Yeah, we can set the proper forum, for example, to discuss in a very great detail about what is the real meaning of that plan, and then we can counter-propose. Yeah, we can have our own proposal. Yeah, we can send it, for example, to our fellow Muslim and Islamic leaders. Yeah, either from OIC or from D8 group or from some other groups. Yeah, to show that we also have some say in order to make sure that Palestinian rights, yeah, will not be abandoned, and then we will be with them, yeah, yesterday, today, and days to come. So with that, I would like to thank Brother Dr. Latif. I think time is good enough to stop to hear some other people to give their points and to share some of other information. Ya, terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prof. Kamrul Zaman, for your insightful thoughts on the 20-point plan. And incidentally, you raised one of the dimensions of this Gaza issue, that is the humanitarian efforts undertaken by grassroots movements. So I think we are all following what's happening now, the global Sumut flotilla, and there are going to be wave after wave of flotillas, hopefully. And we hope that there will be new forms of grassroots movements which will at least be able to break the siege of Gaza and provide the humanitarian aid that is required by the people of Gaza. Incidentally, his son is leading one of the Nusantara Sumut flotilla. So this is congratulations to Prof. Kamal Zaman for having the spirit and allowing a family member to be to lead the Sumut flotilla. We have come to the end of this session of presentations by our esteemed speakers. Now is the time for us to listen to our discussants. Let me introduce our discussants to you. We have with us, the first discussant is Dr. Noor Aisha Hanifa. She is a senior lecturer from the Faculty of Defence Studies and Management, University Pertahanan Nasional Malaysia, UPNM. Our second discussant is Dr. Firuz Ali. He is Senior Fellow, Asia Middle East Center for Research and Dialogue. Is he here? He's not here. Oh, I'm sorry that we do not have Dr. Firuz here. The next discussant will be Michelle Gunaselan. She is a humanitarian worker. That's how she describes herself. She's been here for many occasions. And we have the next, the final discussant will be Yang Mulia Dato' Raja Kamarul Bahrain Shah. He is the committee member of Parti Amanah Negara, or Amanah, who is seated just beside Dr. Noor Aisha. Since we only have 3 discussants from the original 5, the time for discussions, to raise your points will be extended. Instead of 5 minutes, we'll give you 10 minutes each. So let's listen to Dr. Noor Aisha Hanifa. If you'd like to use the podium, you can.
Assalamu alaikum. This is a very complicated topic always. Whenever we talk about Palestinian, there are, even the event today, the roundtable discussion today, I think that we can produce many books, if we are really writing about it. But, for the occasion today, I would like to present a few humble points, what I'm thinking about the entire scenario of the Gaza war, and also the US behavior, and also the Israel's behavior. So I'm just pointing out certain points which can answer so many puzzles that we are thinking about in this roundtable. Firstly, I just want to bring your attention to the Sonmai village massacre in 1968, which took place in South Vietnam, where 400 Vietnamese were killed by the US soldier. Only 400 Vietnamese. And the entire US was boiling at the time. People gone into the street. People demonstrated. Students in the universities was demonstrating at that time. And also some of the students was burning themselves to show that how unhappy they are because of US policy. There was a pressure from the student, from the public of US, to US to withdraw from the war. And US withdraw from the war. And what is happening now? In Gaza, we are seeing that more than 65,000 of Gazans were killed. And just now the number was told by Brother Muaz, more than 200,000 people were injured. And the behavior or the reflection or the response of US is not same like what happened during the Vietnam War. So the behavior changed, the attitude changed, whether it is because of the influence of the Israeli lobby, whether it is because of the Israeli Hasbara that can influence US people or US citizens to be pro to Israel, So these are the points that we have to think why US is behaving such a way. It's a very different behavior, how they responded to the humanitarian atrocity at this point of time. And secondly, I would like to refer to what Professor John J. Mearsheimer says. John J. Mearsheimer is a very famous foreign policy advisor to the US government. And he said why Trump is listening to Israel. Why? So he was trying to answer the question. So the answer is, one of the answer is about the influence of the lobby. The lobby is giving a pressure. That is one of the answer he has given. The second answer he has given is the Jeffrey Epstein files. The Jeffrey Epstein files are not opened during the Biden time. Biden refused to open it. Even in the Trump time, they refused to open it. But Israelis having a placard in their hand about the Jeffrey Epstein files. And if the files opened by Israel, it will be a setback to President Trump. President Trump can be overthrown at the domestic level. And there is no future for him in his political world. So this is one of the points that Professor John J. Mearsheimer was presenting, why US is listening to Israel. And we know very well that IPAC, one of the powerful lobby in US, it can reach White House, it can reach President Trump, it can reach the Congress, it can influence the senators. And we know very well that the economy of US is actually controlled by the Jewish people, especially the Israelis. And we're also hearing that, whenever we read books on Israel and US, we always hear that Israel is a strategic partner of US. Israel and US special relationship. The special relationship is a very important term that US has in the foreign policy. There are only two countries US always says we have special relationship. One is UK and the other one is Israel. So we know very well why Israel was created in the Middle East. And, and the irony is, the Middle East and the Arabs, including the Palestinian, we were believing on US since the time of, after the end of the Second World War. And even though, there was so much of implications to the, to the Arabs and also Palestinians, there was many big bangs. The Western scholars always write about the big bangs. One of the big bang is the Balfour Declaration, the Hussein McMahon letters, and also Sykes-Picot. And then we had so many, even the Oslo Accord is another big bang. So many big bang actually hit Palestinians. And still, we believing on the Western leaders. We are still believing on the Western nations because the system is such. The system is something that created by the what we call the Anglo community, the Anglo-Saxon community. And all the system that we are having now is an Anglo-Saxon community. So we cannot run. Just now, Professor Nazari was saying about the BDS. There are many things that we cannot run because the system is such. So what we have to do, whether we can overthrow the system, the Anglo-Saxon system, and also Tan Sri says about we have to change the United Nations. How to change the United Nations? Is it possible to change the United Nations? Because the Security Council, we have 5 members who are the powerful one. One of the most powerful one is US. Always use the veto power against, whenever there is a resolution against Israel, the first one to show the veto power. So how to change it? So I always say to my student, let's go for a third world war. We change it. Just a joke, this is something that practical can be done, because we know very well that, even in the Security Council, when, there are countries that nominated India to become another member in the Security Council, China says no. Even you want to include other nations will say that no. So they are controlling the Security Council, they are controlling the world, and they're making the decision for the world. So this is the reality, the real politics that happening in the world, where Palestinians become a biggest victim. They are trapped in the system. So I have no solution. I have no solution to how to change the system. And one thing was sparkling, in the recent IRAs, the rise of China. The rise of China, and how China trying to make an opposite pact against the Western world through the BRICS. If China rise and if US decline, we can see there will be changes in the system. And there will be something that possible can be done about the future of Palestine. Look at the 20 points. What is 20 points? It's another Big Bang for the Palestinian. And, they are talking about, the most interesting one is the last point, the 20th point, talking about security. It's about dialogue, inter-dialogue between nations, to think about the future of Palestine. What is the dialogue they are talking about? Whether through dialogue Palestine can be created. So what happened to all the peace processes? So we have to think about what happened to the Oslo, what happened to the Camp David too. All these never bring any answer to the Palestine future. Whether through the security dialogue Palestine can be created, can be formed, I don't think so. It will be possible to create through the 20 points. 20 points it's an illusion. It's a deception, actually. Because Palestinian history is full of deception done by the Western powers. This is another deception. And Trump was, very proudly says, it's a beautiful peace program. He was saying that. But we know very well it's a deception, but we are in the situation that we cannot do anything about it. And, when we are looking at even Trump himself, Trump is in the foreign policy crisis. He's a very confused leader if you compare to other US president. And one time he will tell that, Palestine going to be created after the ceasefire. Then another time he will say that it depends on Israel. And everything is like all the points that we are hearing about these 20 points is all are like misleading us. It's contrary to another point. Because the other day when Netanyahu landed in Tel Aviv airport, he given an interview in the Hebrew language. He didn't give it in English. It was in the Hebrew language. He said, President Trump showed him the green light. If Hamas is not agree with this 20 point, and Israel can do anything to eliminate Hamas in Gaza. So who is telling lies and who is telling the truth? So we don't know. So I will say that this is an illusion. I think Palestinians shouldn't believe on this, believe on Western leaders about their future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nur Aisha, for your points which you raised about the illusion that we are being made to believe. I'll go to the second discussion, that is Michelle. You have 10 minutes.
Assalamualaikum. I'm Michelle. of course, I'm a little bit different from everyone in this room who's very esteemed academics, all our speakers here. I am actually a humanitarian worker. But since I've quit my job last year, October, I am now representing my civil society initiative. So I'll address the points one by one. Also, thank you so much to IAIS, who's always supported our cause since day one. When I was invited to this, actually, I was quite angry, to be honest. I was like, why are we debating this? I don't want to even think about his 20-point plan. You know, why is his point relevant? So, because for me, what is staggering is that this is a settler colonial project. You can frame it as a religious war. We are all here for different reasons. Some people are coming here because they are religious issues. I come here as a humanitarian. For the last 15 years, I was previously working with the International Red Cross, which, as you know, if your country has signed the Geneva Conventions, is the guiding document for the Red Cross. So if you have a Red Cross or Red Crescent in your country, this is the guiding document, okay? So we now know, because of the settler colonial project, so many violations to international humanitarian law daily. This whole 20-point plan, there's so many violations going to happen. I can read it to you and tell you one by one what's going to happen. So I've already addressed, and many of our esteemed speakers have already addressed, that this is a settler colonial project. Now, with this 20-point plan, in some of the plans you can see, it is also a wonderful real estate project. I don't know if anybody of you seen that. What is Trump's business? He's in real estate. They want to rebuild, and I think you have seen the leaked BCG plan, the Gaza Riviera. This is what they're thinking of turning it. Some of you have seen his mansion in Florida, so you can already imagine. I find this extremely disrespectful. It is illegal. The other thing that was cause for concern to me is you want to create a peace plan without the opinion or input of the people living there and of who it concerns. It's doomed to fail, okay? So I had to come here and kind of like explain that aspect of it. And I think most of the speakers have done a brilliant job of explaining those aspects of it. And then the other element that came in, they invited Tony Blair, you know, like somebody who already people in the Middle East have misgivings given his participation in the Iraq war. There is no right to self-determination, which I think a few speakers before me said already. The problem with something like this is that, it doesn't take into account any of what the Palestinians have been feeling, or the fact that they've invited a British man to come back to the reason why the borders are like that, the British. I mean, all of it is crazy to me, you know. So I want to go into, in fact, this is a smokescreen to me. So I'm going to talk about what I think is passionate and what we should do next. As some of the people in this room, many of you have your own talents. So I will discuss what I think about this from a humanitarian perspective, because that's what I know. I'm here today with my colleagues from the Travel Ban Collective. So we're actually working on something which I'm sure you've seen if you've traveled to US, UK, Australia, all these countries, right? The moment you go into the country, you want to enter their country, you have to fill up a form where they ask you, have you partaken in a genocide? Are you part of a terrorist group, etc.? Because by local law, if you answer yes to any of those questions, you could actually be detained. Okay, so Malaysia, we don't have that. We're pretty free and open with our borders. But as you well know, every person in the IDF right now has served in this war for the last 2 years. They are extremely complicit in this violation of international law. After the Holocaust, it took them, 20 over years to find all the Nazis in the Nuremberg trials and bring them to justice. So what I want now, instead of discussing this illusion, is justice. I want justice to be served. And yes, I want it to be a lesson. And many people smarter, better than me have already said this Gaza issue is a massive test of our humanity, our institutions, and the legal protections we've already decided from World War II. So as Malaysians, me and my friends, my comrades, including people for the BDS who are our allies as well, and also IAIS who've given us many interesting perspectives, the you can check out our website. It's called banwarcriminals.org. When we came here a few months ago, we did not have a website, but now we do. Basically, we want to start as Malaysia and a measure which other countries like the US, EU, UK already have on their visa on arrival, where we want people to start saying whether they have their dual nationality, and we will not be a place for war criminals to come and stay. We've brought this up to several members of the current Madani government. They are aware. I think right now you can see Australia has blocked several IDF members from entering their country. I think Hind Rajab Foundation is doing some amazing work. They catch them anywhere. They're always holidaying somewhere in Southeast Asia. I don't know if you know. They are in Thailand, they are in Bali, they are in Sri Lanka. They set up little areas where it's only Israeli. In some places, they won't even let the locals come to their events or parties, etc. Because, of course, all of them have PTSD from living and doing this to other people. So they come to Southeast Asia for holiday. So now what our group intends to propose is wherever you are, if you have committed genocide, you should not be allowed into our country. And as Malaysia is also the ASEAN chair, I think it's super important because all our neighboring countries have been affected by this. So give us a look. If you have any opinions, please come and talk to us after this presentation. Thank you so much for inviting me, because I think it's very important to stick to what we can do and not give any more airtime to the colonizers. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle. That was very insightful about the work that you do and your group. Actually, this is a very important. These are one of the examples of grassroots initiatives. I think we should have more of these to counter the impotence, quote unquote, of the nations of the world. So with that, we come to the final discussion. That is Yang Mulia Dato' Raja Kamarul Bahrain Shah, who will give a 10-minute discussion on the topic.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for inviting me to say a few words. When we talk about the 20 points, Gaza, proposal by Trump, we should think about how mafia normally makes their offer. They normally make an offer that you cannot refuse. So in this case, Trump makes an offer the Palestinian cannot agree. It's more or less the same. So this is up to the Palestinian Gaza now to negotiate a vast improvement on the terms that's already been predetermined without their involvement, without their acknowledgement, and without their participation. This is what we should insist that should happen from now on. What surprises us is that why were the Arabs and Muslim countries so overjoyed and so anxious to immediately jump with joy to say this is a wonderful offer? This is something that surprises a lot of us. They did not even look at the finer prints or even the bare facts that lay before us that this is a very bad offer. But thankfully, the Palestinian, Hamas in particular, were wise enough to just say yes, but they will negotiate very, very hard in order to put Trump and also Netanyahu in a very difficult position. So the other thing that I would like to add is that, of course, like we have acknowledged earlier, the 20 points Gaza proposal is actually colonization and apartheid package. Yeah? But this is done in reverse. Yeah? Normally, apartheid comes after the state has been colonized. But in the case of Palestine, they have been subjected to apartheid for a long, long time, and now they've been formally colonized again by the British, who were responsible for the Balfour Declaration. This is again a big tragedy to what has befallen upon the Palestinian. Yeah? That we can see that nobody says anything about apartheid that's happening not only in Gaza, but also on the West Bank, Jerusalem, and most of the Palestinian areas. Now, what is sadly lacking in the 20-point proposal is that there is not much or hardly anything mentioned about self-determination, which should be the crux of the whole matter. Yeah? But if we were to push for this matter to be looked into, of course, the British and Americans and Israel are going to say, oh, we're going to do it in the future. But like our friend said just now, Dr. Muaz, what has been promised for 2005 has never materialized. So in case of Palestinian, when they say we will discuss in the future, it means it will never happen. Future is never. Future is something that is very elusive and almost beyond anybody's imagination that's going to actually materialize. Now, the other factor that I think we should emphasize and we should press upon is that this very hypocritical recent UK British government recognition of Palestinian state. They say they recognize the Palestinian state where they are now still actively supplying weapons, spare parts to contribute towards the continuous merciless bombardment of Gaza and most of the other Palestinian population. So this is one of the greatest hypocrisy. How can you say you're going to recognize the Palestinian state when there's going to be hardly any Palestinian left? Should and when the Israel move into Gaza and, like Trump said, to finish their job. That is very crude. The ultimatum that they actually gave to the Palestinian, that if you don't accept this 20 point, we are going to let the Israeli loose and finish their job. So this is what the British has always been very good. Colonization and be very hypocritical about the whole thing. And I think the other part that shows that the British is never going to be serious about recognizing the rights of the Palestinian or the right to protest is the banning of the PA by the UK government. Now, if you go into the streets in London and you hold a placard saying that you support PA, you can be arrested and jailed for up to 12 to 14 years. So what democracy are we talking about? And what recognition of Palestinian are we talking about? You recognize Palestine, but you're going to be arrested for holding a placard to say, I support PA. Now, I come to the interesting part about Tony Blair's role in Gaza. As an administrator, actually he plays three very different roles. First, Tony Blair is supposed to be the administrator of Gaza. Being an administrator, you're supposed to administer the whole situation in a fair and objective way. And we know he's not able to do that because his second other role is he is actually the colonizer. So how can a person who comes in with this colonial mentality going to be a fair administrator? He has shown that the way he has treated the Iraq War, when he was instrumental in convincing the British government to go to war in Iraq on the excuse of weapon of mass destruction, which never existed. And we know the eventual consequences that Iraq is now shattered to pieces. And Tony Blair's third important role as far as Donald Trump is concerned is he is actually a real estate advisor to Jared Kushner. It has been widely publicized that he has been consulted by Jared Kushner about how to turn Gaza into a lucrative, Riviera of the Middle East. So how can Tony Blair be playing a fair and impartial role to administer Gaza to ensure that they can actually lead to the self-determination of the Palestinian? So these are the things that we should highlight and show to the world how hypocritical this whole charade is all about. Yeah? And lastly, I'd just like to share a bit of my own experience here in Kuala Lumpur. As the chairman for Amanah International Bureau, I've been to the American Embassy with a few of my friends to hand over the memo. Yeah? Since October last year, I think we've gone to the embassy about 5-6 times, yeah, to handing over the memo. And the previous occasions has not been problematic. We made an appointment. They send one of the officers, normally a lady officer, to meet us in front of the guardhouse. So they were not pleased with what we have been saying or what we've been handing. But we tried to do it in a diplomatic and courteous way. But unfortunately, about 2 weeks ago, for some reason, after I handed over the memo and we did a small press conference outside the compound of the embassy, the ambassador himself, yeah, wrote, I would say, a vicious complaint to my president of my party, saying that he is angry with Raja Bahrain because he accused me of revealing the identity of the officer who accepted the memo. To me, that's shocking because the previous 3 or 4 times they have come out openly and the press and the media can see who exactly were the officers who came out. And now he is accusing me of endangering the life of his officer. He used the word angry, and he even said, if anything happens to my officer or the children of my officer, I am going to hold you, me, responsible for it. That's just the beginning. And he even threatened he's going to make a report to the IGP, Tan Sri. IGP of Malaysia, not America, yeah? And he's even going to report it to the Menteri Dalam Negeri. So I was stunned. I mean, if they are so secretive about who their officers are, what designation they're holding from being known to the public, especially the press, I'm sure the press know who these people are, then maybe they should follow how this ICE officer in New York are going about their job. Wear a mask. So I think all the American embassy officers would be wearing masks from now on if they are so secretive. But it shows that they are being very paranoid now, yeah? With the uprise in the resentment, in the opposition to what's happening today, I think this is showing because it has never happened before. And I said to him, my president asked me to reply if I like to. Of course I did. I said, I'm disappointed that this is your attitude because frankly, he thinks that this is America where Trump can close down TV station and stop talk shows and all that. So he's trying to impose the same thing, trying to stop Malaysia Kini, whatever other portal from talking about these memos. Even harmless memos are being threatened by police report. So we must be doing something right. Yeah. But I would like to suggest here, don't stop at just the American embassy. I think we should also go to the British embassy because I think they are being very cunning by trying to mislead their population where they have quite a large Muslim majority by saying, oh, we recognize Palestinian state. At the same time, still supplying weapons, spare parts, and banning PA. So those are the things that I think we should do our own small parts. And since Trump is coming on the 26th, 27th, 28th, let's give him a big welcome in our own way. Inshallah. Thank you.
That's very interesting. Thank you very much, Dato Raja, for the point about mafia. Even when we talk about mafia, of course, mafia are very stern, but even mafia have rules which they stick to. They have certain principles within the way they do things, but not with the Zionists. So with that, we have come to the end of the second stage. We now go to the final stage of our roundtable discussion, which is questions from the floor. So due to the lack of time, we are constrained with time. We have to finish by 1:30. So we hope the questions that are posed are to the to the speakers to answer, and not your own analysis of the whole thing, which will take another session by itself. So if you have a show of hands, can you please introduce yourself, where you are from, so that we can record the question, and be brief, straight to the point. The gentleman at the back with the songkok, please.
I'm from Shah Alam. I have a direct question from to Professor Nazari. Being an economist, can you please do an article or calculate, if we were to stop doing what you proposed just now, how bad or can we sustain if we sacrifice? Stopping doing the thing that you mentioned just now about be serious about boycotting them in terms of the US trade to Malaysia. And also perhaps the ASEAN countries, how bad will it be for us?
Before we proceed, I would like to remind the audience that we are going to combine all the questions, and in the end, we'll get the speakers to answer. So if there are other questions, I saw a hand here. Yes?
I'm interested in
Your name, please. Your name and your...
I'm Dr. Hisham. I'm from UIA. I'm interested in the BDS program. If you look at worldwide, it's actually been quite successful. So it's a grassroots program, and I hope it continues. I hope the write-up is more today, so we can see how much people have actually joined in and actually helped. On a grassroots program, we are also talking about, we are planning to do there are a few students who are from Palestine, from Gaza themselves, who want to come to Malaysia, to study in Malaysia. This is not so much as a study project, but a lifeline project. We're talking about saving their lives. So we need the government and the society to sort of welcome them, or at least help them or assist them in this project. We also have a couple of families who actually want to transit before they can go to another country. From Gaza, transit in Malaysia and go to another country. However, the Malaysian government has not been very welcoming or very helpful. We can't be talking about Gaza making as if we are doing such great things, and when minor or actually concrete action can be taken, and we are unwilling to bend the rules or unwilling to take concrete actions. So small steps. We're talking about baby steps. BDS will take a very long time before it becomes effective. Some of these life-saving, whether students who come here or families who come here, these could be life-saving. And saving one life is like saving the life of everyone. So I hope I'm here actually to shame the government to do it. All right, thank you.
Thank you. I think that question may have to be answered by one of them. There's a comment. All right.
Yeah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. I'm Major Ramli, Muhammad Ramli. I'm from SPNB, the legal advisor, but I'm representing Club Askar Melayu di Raja. I've been invited. I wonder what is the situation now as we sit here on that resolution, which to me is not illusion, but it's more of collusion between Trump and his good friend. Okay. My question is there any way of getting the United Nations handle this matter? That's the point.
Okay.
Is there any means of dragging the United Nations into it? He's got the mandate. Why do we allow that the arrangement to run the show? He could have, he's very complicit. But why not the United Nations? I'm sure there's a way. We've got big powers like China. But as we sit now here, we are told that China is already applauding that resolution. I'm not too sure about it. It's still probably the media work again. My second part is that I see a lot of academics here, humanitarian, of course my former staff where I was the head of strategic studies in the UPNM. But the point is, why don't we get somebody who has got hands-on experience in Gaza, humanitarian involvement, or even a military officer who has commanded anything close to Gaza or anything close to that area. Let's get it from the horse's mouth. They will add more spruce to this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, at the back. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. I am Dr. Zaki from UIA. I would like to ask, is there any potential prospect, choices that Palestinian resistance groups can make in this critical juncture? Since we all discuss about how bad this deal is, it's true. But can we just futuristically propose some practical, realistic steps that, or at least these resistance groups are thinking of in the near future, taking the next step forward? So, thank you very much.
Yes. Yes. Your name and...
Yes. Selamun Aleyküm. My name is Tarık Güngel. I'm from SETA Foundation in Turkey. So I would like to ask more of a general question. Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, and the rest of the Israeli government so far in the last 2 years hasn't shown any real intention to achieve a peace deal, and it has signaled that as of now that it doesn't consider this current 20-point Gaza plan to be a victory. And considering Netanyahu's track record and considering the fact that they had a very recent conversation with Trump, that it is very likely that Israeli army won't follow the directives of this agreement. So in the opinion of everybody here, what we can expect in the in both the short term and long term regarding the Israeli policy around its geography. As you might know, some Israeli ministers, including Netanyahu, has entertained the idea of territorial expansion in Syria, Jordan, Egypt, and etc. If I recall correctly, an Israeli minister even entertained the usage of nuclear weapons against its neighbors. And well, considering the lack of any real response, one cannot help but think that will they ever stop? Because they signaled never. Thank you.
Yes, Dato'.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I don't want to any no question, but I have to a request. I think everyone in this room, I don't think we trust Trump or Netanyahu. Both of them are great scammer. They know to scam the Palestinian, scam the Muslim world. Period. Own people. So my request is very simple. Now China, the only country, come up with they call it the global security index, because they already reached zero crime in China. That's why the scammer in China moving outside China to scam their own people from our country, from Cambodia, and so on. They are serious about that. So why don't the Muslim world now request China to be one of the co-chair for this board of peace in this Palestinian issue? They have to be in. I mean, when they applaud it, they want to come in. So next time you want to go to, when Trump coming here, we don't organize the demonstration in front of the United States embassy, but we go and demonstrate, show our support in the Chinese embassy, request them to be the chairman. And Malaysian Prime Minister quite close with China. I mean, in 1 year only 3 times visit, and he can play a role. My second request, I mean, I like the idea of boycotting, But you want to boycott, not only Caterpillar, we have to boycott the mobile phone. We have to boycott those using waste. All these things is from Israel. But of course, difficult to do it. The simple boycott, this is not new. Can we come up with a movement to ask all the Muslims all over the world not to go to Saudi to perform Haji or Umrah for 1 year? And that money we take, donate to the Iran and Turkey plus China to build the best sophisticated missile or to attack Israel. I think that's the only solution.
That's very radical, huh, Dato'? That's very radical. I see a show of hands. Before the next question, we will go to that lady at the back. Yes. Please introduce yourself.
Farah Michelle Kimball, Peace Dialogue and Xenophobia Studies Center at UIA. So to continue a little bit from you, Professor Nazari, you mentioned suppliers of genocide. So I understand that Malaysia is the largest trade partner with the United States, or Malaysia's largest trade partner is the United States. There were many interchanges recently with visits from China to increase trade with China. So is there anyone here familiar with the government to know whether there is indeed a shift away from, as you call, genocide suppliers? Here.
Thank you. Can you have, yes?
I am a Gazan, a descendant of the 1948 Nakba survivors, the first crime of ethnic cleansing, the first in a program of continued ethnic cleansing, and the latest of which is still unfolding in front of everyone. That's me. I don't have a question, but I would like to briefly comment on a few terms I have heard. Things like, it's a conflict, and it's even a complicated conflict. Well, the reality is that it is not a conflict to begin with, and it is not even a complicated issue. The Palestinian question, or the question of Palestine, as rightly put by the second discussant, is a case of settler colonialism. Full stop. It is not a complicated issue. It is not even a conflict or a war or a Hamas-Israel combat. It is not. It is a case of settler colonialism. We need to get the language. I'm sure that all of us know this, but we need to get the language right when we talk about it. When we represent it, we need to stop this misrepresentation. It is what exists is not a symmetrical dispute. What exists is, as I said, a settler colonial project that seeks erasure, domination, and dispossession of the remaining. As I said, I am a descendant of Nakba survivors, the first survivors. So we need to get this right. As for the plan, the Trump plan, it's a continuation of this dispossession, a continuation of this Israeli domination. And I will, in just a minute, read to you my post on Facebook about this, what is it? My own, Donald Trump's 2025 20-point peace plan, ostensibly presented as a roadmap to end the Gaza coast. I call it, by the way, the Gaza coast. Gaza coast. Israel's genocidal logic of elimination, a one-sided, it is not a war, it is a one-sided genocidal campaign against a stateless occupied people. A continuation, as I said, of a process that started about 8 years ago. And so it is not, October 7 has nothing to do with it. It is not, I left Gaza myself in 2018. Why? Personally, I left Gaza because of the economic strangulation, because of the hopelessness, because no future, no employment, no life. Trump's plan functions as a discursive recipe, again language, a linguistic formula that on the one hand consolidates Israel's war objectives by reframing the Palestinian decolonization struggle, a decolonization struggle. Hamas is a decolonization movement, a decolonial movement, full stop. Functions, as I said, as a linguistic formula on the one hand to consolidate Israel's war objectives by reframing the Palestinian decolonization struggle in ways
I'll have to interrupt. Can you shorten and come to something, because we need to give space to others to raise their questions. So just can you just summarize, just one sentence or so that we have, we will get your point there about the narrative that is used in describing this thing. It should never be. Of course, we fully agree with you. It's not a conflict. Of course, it isn't. So it is, of course, an occupation. It is a colonization of the Palestine by the Western powers, putting an alien state right in the middle of Palestine. We agree with that. Can you just come to some kind of a question?
My comment on the Trump's plan, as I said, it consolidates Israel's war objectives by reframing the Palestinian decolonization struggle in ways that depoliticize, dehistoricize. I am a Nakba survivor. The Palestinian question did not start on October 7, 80 years before that. Dehistoricize and delegitimize it, thereby entrenching Israeli domination and legitimizing its macro power. While, on the other hand, it emasculates the Palestinian people, stripping them of agency, voice, dignity, and the right to resist and end occupation, and the right for someone said it, self-determination.
Self-determination. Agreed. Can we record what was just mentioned by the brother? That is the actual thing, rather than what we are, been told. If there's one last question, I'll just take one last question before we close and we have the discussion. Yes.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Wan Naim from IAIS. My question is a follow-up from the professor from UIA. I think my question is, at the diplomatic level, how do we position ourselves, between the two positions? For instance, the Malaysian position by the Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister, for instance, said that they welcome this proposal because it stops the gun, it stops the bomb, and opens aid. So this is good. But to be fair, I think the Deputy Minister also said that they are concerned, or Wisma Putra is also concerned with the loopholes and the deficiencies of the proposal. And on the other side, I think there's also some resistance by a group of politicians and activists, for instance, Nurul Izzah. And also, I think also Mr. Jismi also sent a memorandum as well regarding this point. It's a grotesque against international law and it's a colonial project. So how, at the diplomatic level, how we balance, how we position ourselves between this? And maybe one more is, are there any points from the 20 points that's the best that we can maybe leverage on? Maybe a few of the points that if we change it a little bit, it will bring us the best benefit, the biggest impact from the list changes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I have to stop because we have a limited time. We just 15 minutes left. We open we request that some questions were posed directly to Prof. Nazari. I think some to Muaz and perhaps one or two to Prof. Kamal Zaman. Okay, Prof. Nazari.
Okay, thank you. Number one, I think about the diplomatic and also United Nations, Tan Sri should respond. He is very well versed and the best person to respond to that. So I
agree
can
with
ask,
that. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yes. With regard to the boycott thing, I just a couple of things I want to say. This question was posed to me in a forum in IKIM many months back. But the day before I went to present the BDS stance, the question was posed actually a couple of days before in the parliament. Did have Malaysian economy suffered because of the boycott movement of restaurants, etc.? Sorry, I will stand up so that you can see me. And the minister said, two from two ministries, domestic as well economic minister, no effect whatsoever. Because you don't go to McDonald's, you go to another place to eat burger. You don't go to Ramly Burger. In fact, so that was this government official response. No effect. In fact, I have friends who told me, actually, I'm so happy that people have overheard because my business is booming, he said. He said, got a coffee outlet. He said, another one. I won't mention it because BDS we cannot mention, we cannot promote. Otherwise people say we have a hidden agenda. But many businesses, local businesses are very happy with us. And because they are now have an opportunity to prosper and to show to Malaysians that they can also provide services, products of the same, maybe better quality. And then what's going to happen? What's going to happen to the country if we continue to, what's going to happen basically? We shouldn't be thinking what happened to the country basically. We should be thinking about what's going to happen to the cause of justice and freedom and equality if we start talking about, if we engage in boycott, right? If we start talking about what's going to happen to Malaysia, to the peace, that sounds very parochial. That means we are thinking about ourselves rather than about a cause, right? We should be thinking about a cause of justice and freedom and equality for humanity, not about what's going to happen to Malay business, Malaysian business. Nampak macam very perkampungan sangat, very so parochial, so narrow-minded and so selfish. We should be talking about that. So we should be inspired by what happened in South Africa when we engage in, when the humanity, when the international community engaged in BDS, in boycotting the South African apartheid regime. What happened? It ended in 1994. Actually, South Africa started the same time as Palestine also, the colonization official, before it was colonized by the British, but 1948, right? But it ended in 1994. Because of one of the most important factors was the boycotting of the country by the people, and then later on by the corporation. Because when the corporation find out that they were losing business, then they say, okay, we better abandon South Africa. And Alhamdulillah, so far we have seen some of the effects already. Puma stopped their sponsorship of the Israeli ball team. Many businesses actually decided to come out. G4S stopped their business in Israel because of boycott and also people in Europe basically, right? And many other companies. Now, some companies got scared again, like Reebok. They announced we putting out, and then because of pressure by the Zionist lobby, started to sponsor again. So we are now escalating the boycott of the Reebok brand. And then many other companies, as I said just now. Now the Financial Times have reported that now Israel economy is in Financial Times, no less, is saying that Israel is going to be what's called the startup, and now close down kind of something of the economy now. Israel's economy is going to the danger of what? Closing down. Tech companies are leaving Israel now because they don't see any hope in the future. There was a guy, the BDS activist wanted to do research to find out about emigration of Israelis because of because of the prospect of the Israeli economy going down. So he went to see, there were many people, many Israelis who are living in Israel now. So he went to see an official in the immigration department. And you know what? He said, I couldn't find the data because the officer already left Israel. So that shows the trend now in Israel, people are leaving, right? And now they are trying to suppress that news. It's a I remember, shut down nation. That's the term used now to describe Israel because of the what's happening now. Lastly, if we start talking about, always discussing about what's going to happen to us if we do this, what's going to happen to the negative implication if we do this, then we start thinking about that, then you are, if the Palestinians have that kind of attitude, then that means you are saying to the Palestinians, don't do anything. Because if you do this, they will demolish your homes. If you do this, they will jail you. Right? That's what they are doing. So if people are thinking about the negative implications of actions for freedom and justice, etc., then don't do anything then. Get out of Palestine. Give the whole country to the Zionists then. If we start thinking about the negative possible implications. Alhamdulillah, the Palestinians are not like that. Thank you very much.
Alhamdulillah. If Malay is in Palestine, we don't have the issue long time ago.
Tan Sri, you want to give a few words on this? Yes, please.
No, lari a bit lah. Thank you very much. I think we are all discussing to go to war. The most important thing is, in terms of diplomacy, there must be no mismatch between words and action. At present, there is a lot of mismatch between words and action. We have problem. At the end of it, Trump plan, we know what he wants to do. But the solution is diplomacy. So you must not abandon diplomacy. Whatever you want to take, whatever plan you have, whatever strategy you have, at the end of it, you must come back to diplomacy in order. I think what is the most important thing that we need to... We want the UN to be relevant. So at Trump plan, if at all, I don't understand why Wismar should say what he says. Because you cannot sideline the UN when you plan. You cannot sideline the recognition of Palestinian state. So I think if we take that, then we can proceed on the diplomatic. For diplomacy, even when you are quarreling, you still talk to each other. Otherwise, you will not have solution. So I think our idea is, yes, it is an illusion. Yes, it is a settlers colonial project. But at the end of it, when you want to establish the Palestinian state, it has to go through political, and political it means diplomacy. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tan Sri, for your insightful answers to...
May I add something just to be fair to the Prime Minister? Because the social media are not taking it for inviting Trump. Yeah, especially from the opposition. We mustn't forget that Brother Anwar didn't pay a courtesy call when during Biden time and during Trump. Personally, he said, I'm not going to pay a courtesy call to US President because of Gaza, because of Palestinian. But he has to invite Trump because he's the chairman of ASEAN. And Anwar is want to engage. So I strongly support our former foreign minister, James foreign minister policy. Engagement is important. But he used to tell me one day, long time ago, he said, do you know the difference between wife and terrorist? You can negotiate with terrorists, but not wife. So I don't know, maybe that's I mean, the minister told me.
We haven't heard. Can I?
Based on issues. Yeah, based on issue.
Yes. Can we get some responses from Mr. Muaz and also finally from Prof. Kamruzaman? Then we end the session. Muaz, a few words from you on what was raised just now.
Okay, thanks for all the insights and the comments we've received from all the participants. I'd love just to highlight and practical steps. Okay, we do discussions, we follow the news, we are full of sympathy and solidarity. And when it comes to real support, practical steps, we are we've done some practical steps as human beings, the human community, but I don't know. I think it's not reaching the point that we change the reality or we achieve something yet. But is this an excuse to stop? Of course not. We have to increase and intensify our efforts. What we are doing, all the brilliant ideas and initiatives from BDS to the flotilla to the protests is in the right direction, and this will pay off in the future for sure. It will happen and it will lead to a change. So pressure is a key point. We have to keep pressuring them, not to let them at least feel that it's okay to do whatever they are doing peacefully. No, we have to pressure the doer of the genocide, the genocider state, and its supporters, like the US, the Western Zionist politicians. We have to keep them unrest and keep them always notified that what you are doing is wrong and we are against it. And also we have to look at the other side. We have to do something to break the siege on the people of Gaza. We have to let the aid in. We cannot just say, oh, Israel is not allowing it. The aid trucks are waiting on the Rafah crossing for almost like 1 year now, rotten and thrown in the trash, while people with 100 meters away, they are starving to death. We've seen those images, and I assure you they are real, not like what some leaders trying to say it's fake. So those scenes, those things are being done or subjected to the Palestinian people. We cannot be confronting them with normal things. We have to think outside of the box. We have to come out with more practical and more effective steps in order to change this reality, at least to stop the reality from deteriorating and keeping worse and worse. So please, I don't know, some people may lost faith in democracy, diplomacy, UN, international law, but we have to keep faith in humanity and keep it alive, because they are against this. They are the ones who attack the humanity inside us. They want us to tolerate people being under genocide and we keep living our normal life. By then, I don't know, just put yourself in their shoes and you will understand. I think what we are doing is good, but we have to do more. Not because we are just wanting or admiring to keep noisy and angry. No, because we want this to stop in any way possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Moaz. Can we have from Prof?
Thank you very much. I just want to highlight two main points. The first one is all about the knowledge, you see. So many people now understand the problem of Palestine based on issues. When it was war, 7 October, and then people start coming and then giving money, this, and then after that, go back to normal. Okay? So the Palestinian people have to do more effort in order to tell others that now it is the time. Okay, please continue, and then we go back to basic, and then busy with our some other activities. So finish, and then they have to think again. People from Gaza, from West Bank, from all over the world have to think how to create awareness among other people, Muslim and non-Muslim alike. So my humble opinion is that we have to go back to knowledge. We have to teach them. We have to share with them. We have to make them understand what is happening, to bring about awareness, unstoppable. And then at the same time also, we have to bring up their empathy, to share the feeling of what's happening there. Not only seasonal, but we have to do it, continuously, in order to make sure that this issue is not only Palestinian issue, this is our issue, this is humanitarian issue. We have to do whatever effort that we have in order to continue. This is the first point. My second point is that about flotilla. Most people probably know. I also have some, story from inside. They are telling us once the flotilla start to sail from any part of the world, the Egyptian government start to feel shaky. And then usually they will open some days, they are giving time and space to some of these containers to go in. So this is what I heard since 2008. And I also believe that although all those flotillas, there are 55 altogether, failed to reach Gaza, but they already have a very successful, in terms of giving awareness to the people. We cannot imagine the ZRA only stream as well as Facebook and Instagram managed to share with more than 5 million people within these 40 days. So you can imagine if those people, we manage to convince them, we give more input to them, and then later on, they will continuously following and then giving hand in order to give a special hope to the people of Palestine. We hope also, as I said previously, that we still looking forward to see, to reach, to discuss, to have more non-Muslim, especially in Malaysia, to do more, to share more in order, to break the siege and then to break the silence. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all our speakers as well as our discussants, and to the audience for participating in this roundtable discussion. It was very helpful for us to understand what this whole thing about the plan that was put forth by Donald Trump. We've come to the end of the session, but the discussion session. We have one more item to go, and that is to present the souvenirs to our esteemed speakers as well as discussants, and also to Tan Sri. So for this, I would like to invite Chairman of IAS, Dr. Mazli, to hand over the souvenirs to our speakers as well as our discussants. We begin with our first speaker, That is Mr. Muaz. Prof. Nazari. Professor Kamaruzzaman. We invite Tan Sri. Tan Sri, please. Dr. Nur Aisyah. Michelle. And last but not least, Datuk Kamarul. And with this, we come to the end of the roundtable discussion for today, and we hope that we will be able to have similar sessions in the future, and we hope we welcome your attendance at these sessions. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.